You probably think of the Roman Empire as gladiator fights, suspicious wine habits, and a truly alarming number of emperors who died in accidents that nobody could quite explain. But their real superpower? It was something far less cinematic. Roads. Not just any roads, a staggering network of over 400,000 kilometers of engineered stone paths that stitched together an empire spanning 3 continents and hundreds of different cultures. And here is the uncomfortable truth that no history textbook puts in bold letters. That same blueprint, infrastructure equals power, is the invisible force driving the most intense geopolitical rivalry on Earth right now. So what exactly made Roman roads so revolutionary? The short answer is one gloriously unglamorous word: standardization. Stay with me, because this is where it gets genuinely wild. Every Roman road was built to the same width, the same load-bearing depth, and the same drainage design, meaning a Roman soldier in Britain and a Roman merchant in Egypt were operating on the exact same logistical system. This wasn't just engineering convenience, it was military and economic dominance baked directly into stone. And it meant that Rome could move armies, goods, and information faster than any rival civilization on Earth. When your army can march 40 kilometers a day on a road network that your enemy doesn't have, the battle is essentially decided before a single sword is drawn. Speed isn't just a tactical advantage, it's a strategic weapon. Historians call this golden period the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, roughly 200 years of relative stability across a vast multi-ethnic empire. And roads were quite literally the circulatory system keeping the whole body alive. Trade goods, tax revenue, military reinforcements, official decrees, even gossip. All of it flowed through those roads at a speed the ancient world had never witnessed. Rome didn't just build its roads. Rome was its roads. The moment Rome's roads began to crumble, literally and administratively, the empire followed. It's almost poetic, and it is a lesson that modern strategists have quietly memorized word for word. Fast forward 1,800 years, past the fall of Rome, past the age of sail, past 2 world wars and a Cold War, and you arrive at 2013, when a Chinese president quietly announced something that made Western strategists nearly choke on their morning coffee. He called it the Belt and Road Initiative, a multi-trillion-dollar global infrastructure project designed to connect China to Europe, Africa, and Southeast Asia through ports, railways, highways, and energy pipelines. If that sounds strikingly familiar, it absolutely should, because what Beijing had just announced was essentially a 21st century Roman road network, with China playing the role of Rome and the rest of the developing world playing the provinces. The strategic logic is identical across 2,000 years of history. Control the infrastructure, control the flow of goods, and the political loyalty of nations along that corridor tends to follow rather naturally, whether anyone officially agreed to that arrangement or not. By the early 2020s, over 140 countries had signed onto Belt and Road agreements, representing roughly 75% of the world's population and 50% of global GDP. At that point, even Julius Caesar would have taken notes. Chinese-financed ports in Sri Lanka, railways in Kenya, highways in Pakistan, and fiber-optic cables across the Pacific. The physical architecture of Chinese global influence was being laid, one construction contract at a time. So how exactly did the West respond to watching someone else build the new Roman roads? With great alarm, several emergency summits, and after an awkwardly long delay, their own roads. In 2021, the European Union launched the Global Gateway, a €300 billion initiative explicitly designed to offer developing nations a values-based alternative to Chinese infrastructure deals. The marketing was very polished. The EU's pitch was essentially, we'll also build your roads and ports, but ours come with democratic governance standards attached. Whether that sounds more or less appealing depends entirely on which side of the negotiating table you're sitting on. The uncomfortable challenge for the West is timing. China has been building for over a decade already, and catching up in infrastructure diplomacy is not like catching up in a software update. You can't just install a patch overnight. Then came 2023, and what might be the boldest Western infrastructure gambit yet? Unveiled at the G20 summit in New Delhi, the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC, because geopolitics has an unbreakable love for acronyms. IMEC is designed as a combined rail and shipping corridor stretching from Indian ports, across the Arabian Peninsula through the UAE and Saudi Arabia, then jumping to Israeli ports, and finally connecting to European markets via Greece and Italy. The corridor deliberately routes around Chinese-controlled infrastructure choke points, and that is not a coincidence. That is the entire point, carefully worded out of every official press release. Meanwhile, the United States has been pushing the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, or PGII, pledging $600 billion in coordinated infrastructure financing from G7 nations by 2027. Rome was not built in a day, but apparently it needs to be. Here's the pattern that connects all of this across 2 millennia. Infrastructure is never just infrastructure. Every road, every port, every railway line is also a political statement, a security arrangement, and a long-term claim on influence. When a foreign nation builds your roads and finances your ports, they don't need to station soldiers in your capital. The infrastructure is the presence, and the debt attached to it is often the real instrument of leverage. Rome understood this instinctively. Build the road, and the province follows. Let the road decay, and the province drifts. Modern superpowers have simply swapped stone pavers for container shipping agreements and sovereign debt instruments. The next time you see a headline about a contested port deal, a Chinese-financed railway, or a Western infrastructure summit, you are not reading economics news. You are reading the ghost of the Roman Empire, still very much haunting the modern world. The players have changed. The materials are different. The press releases are considerably longer. But the fundamental logic of power has not moved one single inch since a Roman engineer first laid a stone in the Italian soil 2,000 years ago. If this made you see the world slightly differently, or just made you feel a lot more sympathy for Roman road engineers, subscribe to GeoMind Studio, where history isn't something that happened, it's something that never really stopped.